Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Operation Mincemeat, playing at the Golden Theater on Broadway. This logo is really small. This reminds me of Charlie Brown. Anybody else feel that? Anyhow, peanuts. All right, I've been excited to tell you about this show for quite some time. I actually saw this show at Riverside Studios in London in May of 2022. I asked my theater friends in London what was the hot ticket, and they recommended Operation Mincemeat, and I went and saw it at the beginning of its run, and I loved it. Now, at that time, Riverside Studios is like an off-Broadway theater. It's very small, very scrappy. This is just a 5-person play. It was written by 3 of the actors who performed this are credited as the book, music, and lyrics. It's a musical. And it's got a very Fringe Festival, scrappy feel to it. And I loved it. And I was worried that when they brought it to Broadway that it might lose some of that charm, but it did not. They found a really nice medium of amping this production up while still maintaining the charm. So let's get into this show and talk about, first of all, what is it about? Well, Operation Mincemeat is about this operation that happened in World War II in which the British government wanted to distract Hitler and get him to move his troops from Sicily so that the Allies could attack. And what they did is they found a corpse, they handcuffed a briefcase with some fake plans, top secret plans, that they then dropped in the ocean off the coast of Spain in hopes that these fake plans would get back to Hitler and he would move his troops. And, spoiler alert, it actually worked. This is one of those stranger than fiction stories. They made a movie a few years back with the same title, starring Colin Firth, but this was a very truthful, historical look at what happened. I didn't see it, but that's what I heard. Now, Operation Mincemeat, the musical, is not serious at all. It is a spoof. It is high comedy. It does touch on some ideas of elitism in the British society and the school system and how women are relegated to doing jobs of bringing tea. And probably the biggest theme is, what does it mean to be a nobody? Even someone who is no one can somehow influence the world for a greater good. They try to bring it back to this heartfelt place, which is really not necessary, but I'm glad they tried to give the show a deeper meaning. If you want a show with very deep meanings, it's not really this show. This show is about having a good laugh, and it is very funny. They have been doing this show for years. When I saw this show in London, I saw basically the same cast that is now playing it on Broadway, with the exception of Sean Carey, who was an understudy who was playing the role of Charles Chalamondeley. Doesn't that sound like a name that George Costanza would make up? But that role, the role of Charlie, was originated by David Cumming, who's currently playing it on Broadway. But I loved the understudy as well when I saw it in London. And I believe Sean is currently playing it on the West End. Check him out. All right. So as I said, this is just a 5-person cast, and they're all fantastic. They all have perfect comic timing. They've been developing this show for years, and so it is running like a well-oiled machine. Now, they did bring in a new director named Robert Hasty for the transfer to the West End. It's still the same show, but the direction is even tighter and so impressively choreographed, the way they just switch between characters. It's very reminiscent of the 39 Steps. They're playing one character and then they switch and they're doing another scene. They use flashlights, lighting changes. It's brilliantly directed. The thing moves at a breakneck speed. You talk about louder, faster, funnier. This is the show that does all 3 of those. There's really no rhyme or reason to what genders play what roles in this show. It is completely gender blind, is that a word? So women play men, men play women, and it almost seems like they're doing it on purpose. Like we've got women who play men for majority of the show, and then we've got men who play women for majority of the show, and then we've got men who play men for the majority of the show, and we've got women who play women for the majority of the show. It's all just, gender is not a construct here. They do whatever they want, and it's really fun. I especially love Natasha Hodgkin's take on a douchebag, narcissist, elitist man trying to make it in MI5 in the British government. I also love Jack Malone as a put-upon secretary named Hester Leggett, and he really embodies the heart of this show, and he's fantastic as Hester, as well as the other roles he plays. And Zoe Roberts plays a myriad of roles, and she's really, really funny. Such a great comedic actress. The other two actors are fantastic as well. I shall say their names. David Cumming and Claire Marie Hall. They're fantastic as well. When I saw this show in London, it was such a relief, having been seeing shows on the West End and seeing these mega musicals that are very melodramatic, and you know how the Brits do with these just bombastic shows, and to come to this small little intimate theater and see a show that wasn't about these big soaring ballads. It was about the comedy and the clever lyrics and the wit and the theatricality. And the writers of this show belong to a collective called Split Lip Productions. And this show was developed by a group of people, and I really love theater that's developed in this manner. It really has this, I don't know, it reminds me of the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. There's just it's like a warmth around the show. There's just this, everyone's working together. There are no huge egos. It just feels like we're all working together to tell this crazy story and put these characters across and get as many laughs as we can. The style of the music of this is really, it's not its own style. It's referencing a lot of contemporary musical theater. You hear a lot of references to Hamilton, especially with this fast lyric pace, which is necessary to get all this information out. You'll hear references to Elton John. I heard some Billy Elliot references. I heard some Lion King references. There's also a lot of music hall references, which is really where this comedy of the show really lies, in that music hall tradition that is so rich in England, in London. So this show is written in a way that I don't usually write shows. I tend to write things in a more traditional golden era Broadway, which is that you have scenes and then you land on a song, and the song is kind of a standalone song, and then you move to another scene and you have another standalone song, and they don't, maybe you have a reprise, but you don't reference a lot of those songs throughout. This show is written in more of a motif style, where you have a strong hook for a song, but the lyric for that hook is kind of broad, so it works for a lot of different situations, so that you can reprise these songs throughout the show. For example, the hooks "Born to Lead," or "God, That's Brilliant," or "Act as If." And these kind of hooks really allow you to reuse these songs throughout the show. Hamilton is kind of a combination of both. It uses motifs throughout, but then it also has standalone songs like "Room Where It Happens" or "Burn" or "Theodosia," that are these songs that you could pull out and go, I'm going to do this song in a cabaret. Now, Operation Mincemeat is really kind of motif writing throughout. These aren't songs that you're going to sing for an audition unless you needed like 8 bars of something fast. These aren't songs that you're going to hear people sing in a cabaret. Barbra Streisand is not going to be recording these songs for her next album. That being said, it is the right choice for this material because this material is so dense. It's about a spy operative and it's got twists and turns. It's very complex. So this choice to use this motif style of writing and use these songs to give us a lot of information is very smart and completely appropriate for this kind of story. That being said, I got to tell you, gird your loins, because the first 15-20 minutes of the show, it starts out singing and it starts out with fast lyric pace, and the actors are doing their best to deliver this to an American audience. I feel like they may be even softening their British dialects a little bit to help us understand these really fast lyrics. But as an audience member, I was really having to get in the zone and listen. But once we get past that first 15 minutes and we get into our first spoken scene, then I felt like the show really finds its groove between song moments and scene moments. But that beginning, it's a lot coming at you. So just get ready, get your ears warmed up, because you're gonna dive right into this show. I feel like they also, from when I saw it, they may have added some songs at the end of the first act and at the end of the second act. I may be wrong, but it felt like they were definitely the big showy. They added a big Broadway-style showy ending, which I think is entirely appropriate. It made it feel like, oh yeah, I'm seeing a Broadway show. I got my money's worth on this ticket. So I thought that was really smart. Another thing that I think they do so brilliantly, there's something I've talked about in other reviews I've done about, at the BMI workshop, we call them ballad dollars. It means that an audience doesn't want to listen to a show full of ballads. Ballads are beautiful. but they're slow, and ballads can be powerful, but not if you go ballad, ballad, ballad. I'm looking at you, Redwood. And what Operation Mincemeat does so well is every song is high energy, fast, lyric, paced. And then towards the end of the first act, we stop and we get this beautiful ballad sung by Hester Leggett, where she's writing a letter to go in the wallet of the corpse of the fake pilot to give it authenticity. And so she writes this love letter, and it's really coming from her experience, having lived through World War I. And we really get such an insight, and I got teary-eyed. It's such a beautiful moment in the show. And it was so powerful because it was surrounded by all this craziness. And I always talk about when you have a funny comic show and then you get really serious, I was like, they earned it, because the comedy was so good and so fast that they earned the right to stop the show for a moment and give us this beautiful ballad. And it does stop the show. The audience applauded so long and so loud for this song. Brilliant. Now I want to take a break once from all my praise to get into some little nitpicks. I love the show, but I'm going to get a little nitpicky. The I Want song for Charlie, who is ostensibly our lead character, he's the character we're really rooting for in his journey that we're following. He has an I Want song where he's into like bugs and lizards or whatever. And I think the idea of the song is really funny, but it didn't really land for me. I also felt like the actor who plays Charlie, he's really pushing the nerdiness of this character. And this show is very broad, but I kind of felt with this character that we really want to like. And I just felt like he could have pulled back the eccentricities, the broadness, because we get that with a lot of the other characters. And because this is our one character, he's this little nerd, I just wanted a little more truth from this moment. And also I wanted the song to be not as ridiculous. It's like kind of so out there and ridiculous that I actually have a hard time really remembering much about it. And I've heard the song more than once. And I felt this after I saw it in London, and I felt it again when I saw it on Broadway. So that's one little nitpick. The other, and this I want to get, you guys who are watching, I want to get your opinions on this. So the casting is not gender specific. We've got women playing men throughout and vice versa. So the women who mainly play men have their hair pulled back into a very tight bun at the back of their neck. And so when they're looking straight on you, it looks like they just got men's hairstyles with it slicked. When they turn to the side, you see the bun. And it didn't bother me. I'm fine with it. But if they had made the choice to actually wear a men's wig so it actually looked like a men's haircut, I wouldn't have been mad at that. The actor Jack Malone, who plays Hester Leggett, he does a little spit curl on his hair, which for me actually worked great for Hester, and it worked well for the male roles he was playing. And despite that he's wearing pants for the whole show, I think, I, for some reason, completely accepted him as Hester. I don't know why. Didn't bother me in that case. What bothered me the most is David Cumming has like a scruffy beard and a top knot. And I don't think there's any characters that he plays in this show where the character would have a top knot. We're not doing King and I. And the scruffy beard maybe would work for like when he's playing a dock worker for 5 seconds, but he's playing Charlie, this MI5 agent. And I looked him up, he had a mustache, but I just felt like, I really wished he looked more like the main character he's playing most of the time, which I felt like the women did. I felt like they looked like the main characters they're playing, hair-wise, despite the little bun in the back. I don't know. Am I being unfair to him? It just was pulling me out. So, yeah, those are my nitpicks. What do you think? Comment below and subscribe. The final moments of the play after following this big, bombastic Broadway show-stopping number, they then try to bring us back to a kind of quieter moment where they reveal the real name of the corpse of the person that they used for this operation. And you know what? I gave them latitude. Like I said, they earned this moment. It didn't really resonate hugely with me, but that's not what this show was about. I think they were just trying to find a way to end the show. And honestly, it's so good throughout that I was like, end the show any way you like, because I've got my money's worth and I've had a great time. Now, speaking of money's worth, let me tell you, I'm going to try to post this before the show opens. And I was supposed to see Purpose, but the matinee got canceled. So I went, well, what else is there? So I ran over to Operation Mincemeat, asked if there was any rush tickets. I got a $35 rush ticket in the orchestra center. Great seat. $35, you guys. So come on, $35. Go see Operation Mincemeat at the Golden Theater, because it's just a fun show. If you want to have a really good time, if you want to see really smart writing, really great comedic actors, if you want to have a good laugh and have a good time and just enjoy yourself, guys, check out Operation Mincemeat. It's a great show.
Don't want to drift away. I want to stay inside the play. Keep me engaged, keep me amused with what's in front of me, 'cause I don't want to be bored and confused. Bored and confused.